Good morning. This is All India Radio, Kohima. The morning news read by Jonas Yantan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a special economic package worth over 20 lakh crore rupees, at 10% of India's GDP, in view of the coronavirus pandemic. He said a package would provide relief to almost every segment of the population. He added that the details of the package would be announced in the next few days by the Finance Minister. Modi also appreciated the sacrifices and commitment of migrant workers, laborers, and others facing the virus outbreak. He said that coronavirus is going to be a part of people's lives for a long time, but lives cannot simply revolve around it. He added that Lockdown 4 will be different and have new rules, and the people will be informed about it before 18th of this month. Modi said that in a world that is fighting life and death, India's medicines have brought a new hope. He appealed to citizens to come forward and take on the responsibility of building a self-reliant India. Nagaland Chief Secretary Demton Doy has said that the state government has been making detailed plans to bring in people of Nagaland stranded in other parts of the country in a staggered manner, keeping in view the limitations in infrastructure for quarantine and other resources within the state. In a statement, Doy yesterday, however, said that the central government's announcement on introduction and resumption of special train services from Delhi and other major cities has thrown these plans out of gear, and the state government is therefore working on a new Standard Operating Procedure, SOP. Meanwhile, the Chief Secretary, while mentioning about several civil societies, tribal hohos, and NGOs' appeals to the citizens stranded or staying outside the state not to come back at this juncture unless it is unavoidable, said that the state government appreciates these appeals, given the fact that states bringing in stranded people from affected parts of the country have resulted in the increase of COVID-19 positive cases in those states. Under these circumstances, he said, the state government has decided to give first priority and preference to stranded senior citizens and patients who had gone for medical treatment, distressed persons, and those facing difficulties for repatriation to the state. The government has also decided to give 10,000 rupees to those citizens of Nagaland staying outside and opts to stay back where they are at present. Nagaland Health and Family Welfare Department has completed all protocols for setting up of the Biosafety Laboratory BSL-3 for testing of COVID-19 samples at the Naga Hospital Authority Kohima, NHAK. Health and Family Welfare Secretary Kesoni Yome said all measures, including infrastructure and human resource training, were completed for the BSL-3 setup at NHAK, while the testing of the lab was conducted yesterday. All measures have been carefully completed and sent to Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, New Delhi, he said, adding that the department is waiting on further updates on the functionality of the laboratory. The response from ICMR is likely to come by today and said that the department is ready to go ahead with the testing once ICMR gives the green signal, and in case further rectification is needed, it would be done accordingly. Till date, Nagaland has not reported any COVID-19 positive case. The suspected COVID-19 samples are sent to Assam and Manipur for testing. With thousands of stranded people scheduled to return home, Nagaland government has decided to implement Standard Operating Procedure SOP for the returnees. The decision to this effect was taken during a meeting chaired by Additional Chief Secretary Sentiyanga Imchen, who is also the convener of the Empowered Group on COVID-19 in the state. The meeting held at Secretariat Conference Hall yesterday was attended by officials from Health and Family Welfare, Home, Police, and other senior bureaucrats. The meeting decided that persons returning from orange and green zones will be screened, and if found to be asymptomatic, will be sent for 3 days of institutional quarantine and proceed for 12 days of home quarantine after necessary documentation and mandatory download of mobile app and COVID-19 Nagaland. Those returning from red zones or crossing red zone areas en route to Nagaland will be screened at designated screening facility, either at Dimapur or Kohima, and will undergo 14 days of institutional quarantine. It was also decided that all symptomatic returnees would be isolated and tested. The meeting decided that the designated point of entry for all people entering the state by rail and air would only be Dimapur, while the road point of entry would be through Dilai and new field check gates at Dimapur and Kusama check gate in Kohima. The Aus Senten has urged Naga people stranded in various places across the country not to return home. In a release, Aus Senten said, Nagaland and Nagas spread across the country has not reported any positive cases so far, even as the whole country is in lockdown in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, stating that the hardships, especially those citizens outside the state, are facing during the lockdown is acknowledged. Our sentence said it is doing its best to ease the hardships by communicating with all the concerned. However, the sentence said that it will be in the best interest of all for those stranded people to remain wherever they are, despite the hardship, until the pandemic subsides. Nagaland Chief Minister Nipirio will hold a meeting with all the civil societies of Dimapur at the Rhododendron Hall Police Complex, Jumuketima, at 11:30 a.m. today. The meeting will discuss on the preparedness of the state against COVID-19 pandemic and also on the issues concerning the return of citizens of Nagaland stranded outside the state. All India Radio Kohima will broadcast the Nagamese version of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address to the nation delivered last night, right after the evening English news bulletin tonight. With that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.